Welcome to Story Tales. Please like and subscribe. Let's begin. The Mercer Tech building stood like a blade of glass against the Seattle rain, its lights piercing the darkness. In his top-floor office, Rob Mercer watched streams of data flow across multiple screens. Each pixel told a story, each timestamp a thread in a tapestry of betrayal. Rob built his empire with precision, spotting vulnerabilities in code, and now, in his marriage. The patterns were there: late-night security logins, changed alarm codes, a GPS signal from the Oracle Hotel. Again, another text from Alicia. Working late, don't wait up. Rob pulled up the hotel's security feed. There she was. Designer dress, perfect hair, wedding ring glinting under the chandelier. And behind her, a man, tall, muscular, predatory grace. His assistant's voice broke the silence. "Sir, Mrs. Mercer's personal shopper called. More charges for approval." "Approve it," Rob said. "Then, pull the credit card statements for the last 3 months. His sister Gwyn barged in. "You missed dinner? Again. Work." Rob gestured to his screens. "Rob." She hesitated. "Is everything okay with you and Alicia?" He didn't look up. "Some things require attention." Gwyn leaned forward. "Talk to me." "Nothing that won't be resolved soon. Don't shut me out. I know that look." He met her gaze. "Sometimes cold is necessary." "No. It's not. Not with marriage. If something's wrong, talk to her." "Some things can't be talked out," Gwyn sighed. "Promise me you won't do anything extreme." Rob smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Define extreme." Surveillance footage told the story in brutal detail. Alicia, glowing under John Creed's attention. A hand gripping her arm too tightly. A bruise hidden beneath designer sleeves. Public arguments escalating. The first shove. "We should warn." His security advisor suggested. "No," Rob's voice was cold. "She made a choice. Now she'll experience it fully." The final weeks played out with mathematical precision. 57 hotel visits, thousands spent, deception laid bare. Then, 3 days before her escape, a cash withdrawal, calls to moving companies. She thought she was being careful. To Rob, she might as well have left a neon sign. The confrontation was almost anticlimactic. Alicia packed her bags, defiance wavering under his calm gaze. "I love him," she declared. "I'm never coming back," Rob nodded. "How long?" "Does it matter?" "Everything matters," she scoffed. "That's the problem. Everything is data to you. Numbers, facts. Where's the passion?" "John provides that. At least he feels something." Rob tapped his laptop. Security footage played. A shove, a slammed door, a broken wrist from a past girlfriend, a restraining order. Alicia's face drained of color. "You've been spying on me?" "I gather data. That's what I do." "Her," voice cracked. "You don't know him." "I know everything." He slid a document across the desk. "Like the $50,000 you transferred yesterday." Her hands trembled. "How?" Rob smiled, a blade of ice. "Check the paperwork." Understanding dawned. The accounts, the properties, the assets. Everything was in his control. "You can't do this." He nodded to his security team. "Escort." "Mrs. Mercer out. She no longer has access to this building." A week later, Rob watched the footage in silence. Alicia in a cheap motel parking lot. John's voice sharp, demanding. "What do you mean you can't pay?" Her purse hit. "The wall. You said you had money." "I did." "Rob," he froze everything. John's laugh was cruel. "Guess you better figure something out. I'm not carrying dead weight." Rob saved the clip. Evidence. Always collecting evidence. His phone buzzed. An unknown number. "You think you can just throw her away?" "We'll see about that." Rob smiled and saved the number. Another step in the plan, because sometimes the best revenge wasn't action. It was simply letting them live with the consequences of their own choices. She would learn what real passion felt like. Joan sat in his office, reviewing the latest reports. "The isolation is complete," she confirmed. "No access to funds, properties, or social circles." "And John?" Rob asked without looking up. "Right on schedule," she replied. "Alicia tried to pawn some jewelry yesterday." Rob nodded, cold satisfaction. settling in his chest. And when that runs out, you know what he'll do. He's already started. Rob turned to the rain-streaked windows, watching the city lights blur in the downpour. She wanted danger, excitement. Now she'll understand exactly what that means. Somewhere in the city below, Alicia was learning that passion without control was just violence waiting to happen. That excitement without stability was chaos disguised as a seductive smile. Every choice had consequences, measured, calculated, inevitable. Rob would watch, document, wait. Because revenge, like success, wasn't about emotion. It was about execution. The cheap motel room stank of stale cigarettes and broken dreams. Through his surveillance feed, Rob watched John pace the cramped space, like a caged animal, while Alicia huddled on the bed, clutching her phone with trembling fingers. "Try again," John snarled, raking a hand through his unkempt hair. "Please, just pick up," Alicia whispered, her voice fragile. "Your rich friends blocking your calls now?" John kicked the rickety table, sending it crashing against the wall. "Not." "So popular without Daddy's credit cards, huh? They're just busy," she murmured. John grabbed her phone and hurled it against the wall. "Busy? They're avoiding you, just like your fancy husband planned." Alicia lunged for the shattered device. "Don't break my phone! I need it!" The slap echoed through the surveillance feed. Rob adjusted the volume, cataloguing Alicia's stunned expression, the red mark blooming on her cheek. "You don't need anything I don't give you," John growled, towering over her. "Understand?" Alicia's voice trembled. I understand." Rob's phone buzzed. "Joan." "You watching this?" she asked, no preamble. "Always," Rob replied, his voice like ice. "He's escalating faster than we predicted." "Right on schedule. How's the social campaign progressing?" "Those photos you leaked, they're everywhere. Every event she tries to attend, every old friend she calls, they all know about the affair. She's toxic now." "Good." Rob switched. Camera feeds, watching John grab Alicia's arm as she tried to leave the room. "Any attempts to access her accounts?" 17 in the last week. All denied." Joan hesitated. "Rob, are you going to hurt her?" His voice was devoid of emotion. "He already is. That's the point." The Seattle Arts Gala had always been Alicia's favorite event. Now, she stood outside in the rain, watching her former friends arrive in designer gowns and expensive cars. "Please," she begged the security guard. "My name should be on the list. I'm always on the list." "Not anymore, ma'am," the guard replied, face professionally blank. "Private event, invitation only." From his car across the street, Rob watched through tinted windows as Alicia's composure cracked. Her once pristine dress now showed signs of wear. The little jewelry she had left was obviously fake. "Everything okay?" Joan asked from the passenger seat. "Perfect." Rob gestured toward the whispering socialites, pointing at Alicia. "Watch." "Oh, my God, is that you?" Miranda's voice carried across the sidewalk, Alicia's face lit up with desperate hope. "Thank goodness. Please tell them who I am." "Oh, we know exactly who you are." Miranda's smile was razor-sharp. "The woman who cheated on Rob Mercer with some violent criminal. How's that working out for you?" "It's not. You don't understand. Those pictures were quite clear." Another woman chimed in. "You and that thug at the Oracle Hotel. Very passionate, very cheap." "Rob finally showed everyone what you really are," Miranda sneered. "A gold digger who traded up until she could trade no higher, and now look at you." Alicia wrapped her arms around herself, shivering in the rain. "You're supposed to be my friends." "Friends?" Miranda laughed. "We tolerated you because of Rob. His money. His influence." She gestured at Alicia's worn dress. "Now, you're nothing!" Rob watched Alicia stumble away, mascara streaking down her face. Right on cue, John emerged from the shadows. "Rejected by your high-class friends?" His voice was laced with mockery. "Guess they don't like damaged goods." "Take me home," Alicia whispered. "Please." John grabbed her arm, squeezing until she winced. "Home? You mean my piece of shit motel room? The one I can barely afford because you're useless?" "I'm sorry," Alicia's voice cracked. "I'll find money. Somewhere." "You better." John shoved, her toward his car. I'm getting real tired of carrying your worthless ass, Joan turned to Rob. The social destruction is complete. Every circle closed, every friend turned away. What's next? Rob started the engine. Now, we let the isolation drive them both mad. The emergency room was quiet at 3 a.m. Rob stood in the observation room, watching through one-way glass as doctors examined Alicia's injuries. 3 broken ribs, a fractured wrist, bruises everywhere. The police want to interview her, Joan said quietly. Press charges. She won't, Rob said without hesitation. She's too afraid. How can you be sure? On cue, John's voice exploded from Alicia's room. Who called? The cops. Was it you? No, Alicia pleaded. I told them I fell, just like you said. They're asking questions. I'll make them stop. I'll say whatever you want. You better, John leaned close, voice a menacing whisper. Because if I go down, you go down harder. Remember that. Rob watched with clinical detachment. He had seen the beating that brought her here, seen John's rage explode over a phone number Alicia had tried to call for help. A nurse approached. Are you family? Ex-husband, Rob replied, devoid of emotion. She's asking for you. Interesting. Inside the hospital room, Alicia's bruised face turned toward him. Rob, she whispered. Please, help me. He stood at the foot of her bed, unmoved. Like you helped yourself to my money? My trust? My life? Tears streaked down her face. He's going to kill me. This isn't what I wanted. No. Rob leaned in, his voice deadly soft. Wasn't he exciting enough? Dangerous enough? Passionate enough? I was wrong, Alicia gasped, trying to reach for him. I'm sorry, please, Rob straightened. You made your choice, now you live with it. He turned and walked away. Behind him, Alicia sobbed. Right on schedule, Alicia shuffled through the shelter's intake process, clutching a plastic bag, the last remnants of her past life. We can offer you a bed for 30 days, the worker said. And after that? Alicia's voice was hollow. Then you'll have to manage. Job training, counseling, there are options. Alicia let out a bitter laugh. I've never worked a day in my life. The worker's voice was kind but firm. Well, now you will. Meanwhile, Rob sat in his office, reviewing the final numbers. Every account emptied, every property sold, every bridge burned. Alicia's new shelter phone buzzed. You won. I have nothing left. Are you happy now? Rob typed his response. Happiness wasn't the goal. Justice was. Through his screens, he watched Alicia curled up on her narrow shelter bed, her designer, clothes replaced with donated sweats. The once untouchable woman had fallen. This isn't justice. This is punishment, Alicia texted. No, this is consequence, Rob replied. And it ensures you never hurt anyone the way you hurt me.